afternoon, students. Today we will learn about design of syndrome calculator for N, K cyclic code and recovery of correct code. So the hardware for syndrome calculation looks like this, where for a given generated polynomial of n minus k order, you have to choose n minus k number of registers, and they are connected in this form with a switch in the feedback loop. And g1, g2, gq minus up to gq minus 1 are nothing but the coefficients of the variable x in the polynomial equation of the generator. So based on the values of G1, G2, G3, you either have a connection or no connection. So the received code word is applied to the exclusive OR gate at the beginning or in the first section, that is to OR not. And the various steps that are required to calculate the syndrome is shown in the next slide. In this, first we need to select the number of registers to be of n minus k number, and the gates are connected in the feedback path. Considering the generator polynomial, you either have a feedback path or no. And the received code word y is shifted through the registers. After all the bits are shifted, the shift register will have syndrome bits. If the syndrome bits are non-zero, then it means that the received code word is having error. The switch is opened and the syndrome bits are used for error pattern calculation. Knowing the error pattern E from the lookup table, the transmitted code is found by doing E XOR with Y. And let us do syndrome calculation for a given example, that is 7, 4 cyclic code. So the generator polynomial taken is 1 plus x cubed. So comparing this with the generic equation, we get values for g1 to be 1, g2 to be 0, and so on. Since g0 is 1, you have this feedback path. So we need only 3 number of registers. So the hardware connection looks like this for this given problem. So if we need to receive the code vector 11001010, we need to apply that at this point, that is to the first exclusive OR gate here, and every time the received code vector is shifted through R0, R1, R2 with the help of the switch here in the feedback path connected. So let us see what happens after 2 raised to 3 cycles of clock. So here initially all the registers are reset. At the application of the received code bit for every clock pulse, there are changes that are happening at the input of each of these registers, and therefore the register values changes. So for every clock pulse, the received bit is shown here in the first column. The initial value of the registers are shown in the next 3 columns, and the changes that happen to the registers are shown in the last 3 columns. So the first column refers to the content of R0, the second column refers to the content of R1, and the third column refers to the content of R2. Similarly, the first column here refers to the content of R0 after the calculation takes place. And here we have The second and third columns, in the last, the contents of R1 and R2 after the calculations are over. So for every change to happen, we need to apply the received data and the clock pulse. So whatever change that happens here will become the initial value for the next calculation. So in the second clock pulse, we get the change 0, 1, 0 in the register. The third clock pulse, this 0, 1, 0 acts as initial value and you get a change corresponding to 0, 0, 1 at the output. Similarly, for all the clock pulses corresponding to the number of registers we have, at the end we get the syndrome. If the syndrome is non-zero, it means that there is error. And knowing this syndrome value, we can construct a lookup table, or we can refer to the lookup table and find out the error pattern. So the cycle or the steps are shown in the form of a flow graph here, and the lookup table provides the error pattern E. And the error pattern E, if it is exclusive or with the received code word Y, we get the correct code word X, and hence we obtain the correct code vector at the receiver. So these are given in the form of equations in this slide. The syndrome value is 1, 1. From the lookup table, the error pattern corresponding to this is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. So if you exclusive OR Y with E, you get X, and that is the code vector or code word which is correct one. So that is how you can build up or recover correct transmitted code word at the receiver. Thank you.